Namaste, I'm Orgho from Oromia Spiritual Society. A very good evening to all of you. Welcome to our new English channel, Moromia English. I hope you have all subscribed to it. Now, Moromia doesn't need any introduction, but for our new viewers, I would like to say that Moromia is a movement that has began its journey from Bengal and is spreading awareness everywhere in the country and beyond. Based on the teachings of our Guru Maharaj, Swami Paramananda, Maharaj is enlightening us and taking us on a journey towards truth and awakening. In this era, when history and narratives are so biased, it's really a blessing for us to have a platform like Moromia to guide us. Here, from the basic concepts of life to the great Bharatiya Adhyatmic philosophy, we learn everything from this platform. Today, with me, there is another Moromian awaiting to meet us, and he's a wonderful person, Devasista. He's joining us from Mirat. Please, Devasista, join us. Namaste, Devasista.
Thank you, Orho, for nicely introducing different activities of Moromia. I welcome all the audience, all the viewers of today's program who are watching it live or who will watch the program thereafter, the recorded program. Today's program will be on the importance of yoga in education. My guru, my mentor, Joydeep Maharaj ji will discuss different aspects of yoga and its impact on education. Joydeep Maharaj ji is the heart of Moravian movement, as Orgho said. So let me invite Maharaj ji in this program.
Namaskar.
Pranam Maharaj.
And Orgho, thank you for introducing, and also my greetings and namaskar to all our viewers of our brand new channel, Moromia English, which we have launched just a few days back. And I hope more and more viewers will join and participate with us in Bengal, outside in different states of India, and also our friends and well-wishers from abroad. Back to Orgho and Devashish.
Good evening, Maharaj. We are really thankful to you for being with us in this program. Maharaj, we'll be grateful to you if you discuss something, some questions has been raised on this platform. If you address those questions, we'll be really grateful to you. The first query is that what is true education and how to evaluate our life and its purpose. The second query came that what is the relevance of yoga in modern era? Maharaj, please discuss it.
Okay, thank you. So, your question is, what is true education? Yes, it is very important to add this word true before education, because education by definition should be a true education. But why we have to emphasize on this word true is because now the word education has been confined within the sphere of what we call in India or in Bharat the Vaishya Shakti, that is the interest or the motive of industry, business, and profit. So education has come down to building careers, to survive, to fit in with the system, especially the formal, the streamlined education of schools, colleges, and technical institutes, which are basically grooming centers, which are basically training centers. You can also say some are dedicated to skill development. But in India, we use the word shiksha, shikha in Bengali, and shiksha in Sanskrit. So our basic precept is the definition that Swami Vivekananda had used in his lectures, he had said, it is the manifestation of knowledge already in man. So, what he emphasized on was that there is an ingrained depth of knowledge within the human consciousness. The idea of education is to dig deep into that self and to explore and to bring out or to fulfill the potential that each one of us has. Each one of us is unique, and at the same time, we have a potential towards perfection, a potential to great knowledge and wisdom. In our younger days, we used to differentiate between these two words, knowledge and wisdom, in English. Usually, we meant that knowledge is something that you acquire from outside, and wisdom is something that awakens within you. So, when in Shiksha, if you go by Swami Vivekananda's definition, it is that wisdom, that gyan, that is there inherent in you, and all our efforts should be aimed at awakening inside the great wealth of gyan, the great wealth of wisdom that is within us. When we used to say that he is a wise man, we did not mean that he's a man who is a scholar, who has done a lot of, who has earned a lot of degrees, who is very qualified. We have other words. We might say that he's a knowledgeable person. But when we used to say that he's a wise man or he's a wise person, what we meant is that through his realizations, through his experiences, through his effort to understanding his own uh, potentials, he has attained a level of wisdom, he has attained a level of understanding which is qualitatively qualitatively quite different and quite unique, and quite something that takes him to a kind of a resolution to all the aspects of life as separate from others who are just moving around and who are just trying to collect information from outside in the name of education. You see? So, this introduction is required to understand what I mean by education, because now in India and in every part of the world, in the so called modern developed societies, people are beginning to rethink the idea of education. That something is missing. It is not only the moral or the ethical aspects of life, but it is also the enjoyment aspect of life. The fact that a child from the very beginning loves to play, loves to run around, loves to enjoy. At the same time, he is so full of wonder when he looks at the sky, when he looks at the stars, when he looks at the animals, the birds, the trees, the people around him, when he looks at his own body, when he looks at his mother, at his father, there is a sea of wonder, an ocean of wonder in his eyes. What happens is, our idea of education seems to kill that sense of wonder and the sense of enjoyment. It should be the opposite. Education should lead him to more enjoyment. Education should be a path of discovery, both within and without. We have restricted the idea of education within the confines of a dry classroom where information is parted imparted to the students. Some other people who have knowledge, they are passing it on, or transmitting it to the newer generation, which is okay. But there is hardly any scope for that young generation to experiment, to experience this information through his own thinking, through his own originality, through his own experiences. So that is the main problem that modern education seems to face, because modern education is not aimed at development of the self. It is not aimed at an all-round development of the body, mind, emotions, and our spiritual faculty. It is aimed at restricting our potential, making us adept in order to survive in a world that is determined by economic considerations, that is determined by the interest of the industry and the interest of the business class or the business world. So basically, we are becoming slaves, economic slaves, in the name of education. And we are creating more and more classes of highly educated and less educated and uneducated and illiterate on the basis of our degrees in schools and colleges. You see, as for example, a so called illiterate person who possibly does not even know how to read and write, he may be an expert in some other activity. He might be an expert in building a lot of beautiful things with clay, or he might be expert in working with mud, or he may be an expert in carpentry. And he may have, through his experiences, through the stories that he had heard from his grandfathers and grandmothers, he may have a very beautiful, a simple philosophy of life which helps him to sail along happily with a smiling face. We consider that person to be uneducated. That is the problem. Just because he does not read and write, we consider him illiterate and has to be redeemed from that situation, that as if he's the lowest class who needs our pity and our compassion and our kindness. And so we sort of degrade his abilities. We don't respect him for the little abilities that he has. We also don't respect him for the fact that he is happier in many ways than most other people. And we try to bring him into the fold, into our fold, and try to make him into another mechanical slave. So we bring him back to what we want him to be, you know, serving the big machinery, the economic or the Vaishya Shakti. That is the idea that we thrust upon him. So the real purpose of education is actually lost. So coming back to your point, there are two aspects to this. One, as I had said, true education is the manifestation of knowledge already in man. So, isn't there something that we can also learn from outside? Yes, there is, but it should go side by side. While we are developing ourselves internally, and then we are relating ourselves to the world at the same time with the help of our teachers and gurus and the elderly who are who have more experience. They are sharing their experience with us, so that at one level we are developing our let's say internal strengths, our internal potentials. At the same time we are discovering what we are capable of. Are we capable of a scientific pathway for our life, or an artistic path, or a commercial path, or cultural path, or maybe sports, or maybe something else. What is the capability that we had, that I seem to possess, and how it can be qualitatively enhanced? That pursuit can be qualitatively enhanced by constantly trying to discover myself, or who I am. You see, it should go hand in hand, the inside and the outside, the both these aspects. And together, that is education. That while I consciously evolve as an individual, this is a very important expression for me, that human beings are here to evolve from humanity to divinity, to awakening that wisdom or the knowledge that is already in us. And how to do that? Through our self efforts, about which we will talk more as we talk about yoga, and also to have an environment around us which will help us to understand what kind of work, what kind of karma in this case, what kind of vocation, what kind of lifestyle best suits us, so that that also becomes a sadhana for us to develop our potentials completely and fully. That is, I think, the crux of the main theme here. That is true education. Number one. Number two, the idea of education should not start the day a child starts going to school, and it should not end a day a boy or a girl passes out from the university. The concept of education begins from the moment a child is born to the moment he is breathing his last, he's passing away from this life. Education should be all encompassing, that as we live, we learn. We constantly try and improve ourselves. There is never an end to learning, to knowing, to absorbing. So, education, the concept, the word education or shiksha, should be enlarged, and all our experiences, even when we are getting into relationships with friends, with lovers, with wife, and with the child and with the family, in every aspect of life, we should be aware of the fact that we are all students of life. It's a beautiful life. It's a never ending life. It's an ocean of experience. And we are just bubbles. And we should not think that our education is over, that education is finished just because I have got some degrees, and now I am earning some money. Now I have nothing more to learn. I have nothing more to get. I have nothing more to receive. Such sanskars, such ideas should be completely discarded. Education should be all encompassing. It's a lifetime journey, and it's a beautiful journey. And education is best imparted through enjoyment, through laughter, through love, through friendship, and through a genuine concern of the society at large, to improve, to enhance, to consciously evolve to a next state of civilization, which does not have to be a technological civilization. It has to be a jump of consciousness. So, our education should be thought along those lines. That was my introductory point that I wanted to make. Devashish and Argho, you can come back to the frame.
Thank you, Maharaj, for nicely describing the point. Maharaj, the second queries which has come to us: how to educate our life, how to evaluate actually, how to evaluate our life and its purpose. So, Maharaj, please, if you can discuss on these points.
The purpose of life, according to our ancient teachings, according to our philosophy, the Bharatiya philosophy, is to know who you are. Who am I? Is a question that comes to the mind of every child. Every child, sometime or the other, he looks up into the sky and tries to understand, where do I fit in this huge scheme of life? There are so many stars, there are so many galaxies and Milky Ways, constellations, and there is this our solar system. And he looks at his parents, he looks at the older people in his family, in his locality. He looks at the younger children who are younger than him, and he realizes that even a few years back he was not here. So where was he? And he also realizes that there will come a time, maybe after 60 years, 70 years, when again he will become one of these older people that he sees in the family. And after that, he won't be there. The first time he sees somebody dying, for example, somebody in the family, somebody he knows, and then he begins to wonder, where has he gone? Is he still there somewhere? Does somebody know the answer? Can somebody connect with him? So, this automatically, without anybody giving him any particular advice, without anybody giving him any lessons on dharma or teachings or soul or atma or anything of that sort, these questions come to him automatically. He wants to know, where have I come from? Why am I here? And where will I go from here? And what is the purpose of all this? This coming and this going, this experiencing. Who is somebody playing a game out there in this universe? Is there a will? Is there a force? Is there a Shakti somewhere who is governing this whole process? So he begins to wonder. And this question that comes to him is the first step of his journey towards trying to understand the purpose of his life. And our scriptures and our gurus tell us very clearly that the purpose of our life is to know who I am. Atmanang Vidhi, know yourself, know who you are. You see? So that is the purpose of life. Not only to know what you are capable of, whether you are capable of becoming an engineer or a doctor or an artist or a writer or a sportsman, these will be helpful to you in your worldly existence, in your effort to survive and to grow. But in your spiritual existence, these skills will not take you anywhere, will not help you. to solve the psychological insecurity that you have, the fear of losing your life, the fear of losing your health, the fear of loneliness. These are a psychological crisis. You may be very successful, you may be a celebrity, you are probably earning a lot of money, but all that will not help you at all in resolving the actual existential crisis that you have. And the crisis is ignorance. The crisis is that you are a human being and there is a desire within you to know, but yet you have not done anything to quench that thirst of knowing, quench that appetite for self discovery. So, irrespective of who you are, it is not individual, it is very important. It is not only the purpose of you, Devashish or Orgho or all the people who are watching this program or me, it is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to know who I am. What is a human being? Why am I here? And while we are in the process of knowing, all our potentials, the energies that are inside, that are within us, they open up. They say the granthis, the mystical points, they open up. And we realize that beyond what we see and understand, there's a huge repertoire of great power and great wisdom and great love within us. But if we do not tap it, if we do not seek for it, if we do not explore it, it remains dormant. And the life that we spend usually in most societies, we just grow up and start working and get married and have children and then grow old and then retire and then finally die. This this is just 5% of what we are capable of. Even if that is a very so-called successful life, it is just a fraction of the potential that we have, the potential of a Buddha, the potential of a Jesus, the potential of a Rishi, the potential of a Adi Shankaracharya, the potential of Vivekananda, the potential of an Aurobindo. Each one of us has great potential. Does not have to be exactly the similar to the people that I mentioned. It is uniquely your own potential. So these faculties or these points, they open up as we try and dig within ourselves and try to find out who I am, who we are. The more we dig in, the more we explore, the more we try to connect to the truth, to the divine state of being, the more our nature, which includes the body, which includes the mind, which includes the emotions, which includes our spiritual faculties, our spiritual strengths, these and untapped areas, they open up. These mystical glands, they transform, and slowly our potential, the divine potential within us, they begin to flower, to flourish. So that is the purpose of life. Evaluation, you have used the word evaluation. The evaluation, the idea of evaluation comes only if you have led a life that is meaningless. It says, our Guruji used to say that we are like fishes swimming in the water, but we do not know what that water consists of. We do not even know that it is water. That is the state of a fish. In the same way, life has given us a potential to understand life. Life has not given this potential to the plants. Life has not given this potential to the animals, to the insects, to anybody else. Life has given this potential to human beings. That is why plants and insects and animals, they have evolved to become human beings. Because as human beings, life manifests itself fully, or wants to manifest itself fully in all its glories, in all its potentials. The problem is that if we do not do that, if our petals, take for example, or just imagine for example, that we are all lotus flowers and who have the potential to blossom. But even at the end of our life, all these petals are closed. So if all these petals are closed, then there is a question of evaluation. That evaluation is that we have done nothing to enhance the quality of our life. We have done nothing to fulfill the role for which we are here. So we have to come back endlessly to this life, repeating the same experiences till we start the inner journey. You see? So that is the only evaluation that we can talk about. But for a person who is beginning to open up, for a person who is seeking within sincerely seeking within, with 100% commitment and dedication, he should stop looking for results. There is no instant result to be experienced. It is being and becoming. It is not something that is happening. It is very important to distinguish this. Any other path, maybe you are training yourself to be a sportsman. After 2 years, your coach tells you, pats your back and tells you, yes, your feet movement has improved. Good. Your wrist has become stronger and your stamina is now better. But you need to work more on your breathing, or you need to put on some little more weight and all these things. So you get an idea, you get a report card of your progress. In spiritual life, nobody will give you a report card. And if somebody does, and you begin to feel proud of it, then you're not in the spiritual path. You should be grateful. It is not something that is because of your own achievements. You are just allowing the forces within you. You are just allowing the divine energy within you to express itself. So your own experience is your evaluation. If you feel that you're not happy, that you're not excited, that you feel bored, that you do maybe some meditation or some joke for a few days and then give it up and try something else, that for a few days you go for the chakra experience, and another again another few days the tantra experience, then the yoga experience, then the visualization, then maybe this this spiritual leader is talking about this stuff, so let me follow this for a few days. No, it's not working, so let's try something else. That means you're not a serious seeker. You are actually not genuine. You're looking for some cheap kind of a drug experience, just for some well-being, just to experience some feel-good factors as a substitute for, let's say, marijuana, or a substitute for some kicks, some spiritual kicks. So if you are looking for that kind of evaluation, that, as you can clearly understand, is worthless. It does not have any worth. These things may rise within you. Observe them. These, you can say, temptations to find something meaningful to be proud of, to be boasting to with other people. These temptations might come. Observe them. Watch them. Tell yourself that it's a very long and a beautiful journey. Do not be scared of the fact that it is a long journey. Just be grateful for the fact that now you are on that journey. Maybe more millions of lifetimes you'll have to walk. Let's go. Let's do that. We love to take a journey. Why should we confine ourselves within a limited square boxes of experiences? Why should we not take that journey and consider ourselves to be on that journey? That does not have to be a physical thing. It has to be a spiritual thing. The journey is an inward journey. So just look at your life and ask yourself, am I in that journey of self-discovery? Am I in that journey of self-fulfillment? That is evaluation. Because the purpose of life, I repeat, is to know who you are. That is the purpose of life. Individually, you should have an aim. And that aim and the purpose should be synchronized. Another problem with our education system is that it is very isolationist. Our education system, as far as in India I have noticed, isolates us from who we are. Our education system isolates us from nature, isolates us from universe, isolates us from people, from the society, from the land on which we grow, from the culture that breeds us. Our education system makes us into lonely pockets of existence. That is why we continuously talk about rights. My right and his right and her right and animal rights and rights of the trees. We are constantly talking about rights because we do not recognize the collective existence of this planet. We have long moved ourselves away from it. It's always I and the rest of the world. And it's I and my right, my role, my ideas, and their ideas, their roles. Out there, nature, as if nature is something outside us, as if the universe is something outside us. So our education system has somehow taught us the values of selfishness, the values of isolation. So that is why the whole idea of education should be changed to, or should we should go back to our basics, something that was always there in our society. The idea of education was to evolve consciously, to grow up as human beings, to evolve from the animal level to the human level, from the human level to the spiritual level, from the spiritual level to the divine's level. That was the idea of education, and that should be. It is not something that is relevant in the modern world. It is relevant for all times, in every place in the world. This is education. Otherwise, everything else, in the name of education, is for profit, is for control, is for selfishness. It is just serving the interest of a few people who are trying to run the show on this planet. The economic show, the political show, the social show, the values show, the left and right discourses, and all this. It is the hands, the whole idea of education and everything else is in the hands of these few people. So the only way out is to go back to ourselves. So I repeat, the purpose of life is to know who you are. That is the purpose. Whether you agree to it or not, immaterial. Maybe I have a different opinion about my life. I might tell myself, look, no. My purpose of my life is to look after my children. I may have that idea. But life, I'm talking about life. I'm not talking about opinions. I may have an opinion, you may have an opinion, but life does not have an opinion. Life has a flow. Life has a purpose. And the purpose is to express itself fully, completely. Just again, let's come back to the flower example. The flower might say, look, my purpose is to be in a temple at the feet of a goddess. Or the flower might say, look, my purpose is to be in a nice flower vase in a drawing room in New York City. That is my purpose. Or somebody else might say, my purpose is to be there adorning there for at least for 3 days in a reception of a five-star hotel. But a gardener will tell you none of this is your purpose, my friend. Your purpose is to blossom to your full potential. I am here to help you do that. Now, whether you will be sold in the market, whether you will drop off here on the ground, whether you will be at the feet of a deity in a temple, that life will decide. But your purpose, all your efforts, should be aimed at blossoming fully with all your potentials. So life has that, only that message. So education today, the let's say a revised idea of education should be to to teach us that that is the purpose of life, and that is how I should tune in. Everything else will follow. That does not mean that I will not be married. That does not mean that I will not have children. That does not mean that I will not earn money. I'll do everything, all these things. But at the same time, I will grow spiritually as a human being so that I can be better at the work that I'm doing. I can be a better father, a better mother, a better wife, a better husband, a better friend, and better every moment. Better than yesterday. And tomorrow I'll be better than today. So this is a never ending growth. I can be a better writer. I can be a better reader. I can be a better speaker. I can be a better listener. I can be better every moment. I can be better because my real journey is internal. The qualitative consciousness, that is climbing upwards, moving upwards. So, purpose of life and individual aim, they should be synchronized. That is the crux of our education. That should be the crux of our education. Okay, let's go back. I've been talking at length.
Such
Back
an
to
wonderful and absorbing discussion. Thank you, Maharaj, for responding this query in such depth. And really, we are very, very happy and very blessed to hear from you. And it's not a tale of report cards. It's a tale to know who am I and to know thyself. And such a wonderful discussion. Thank you, Maharaj. There are many queries awaiting us. The next query that is there is, what is yoga and how it is different from the Western parlance of yoga? That's the next query.
now, before we come to Jog, let us try to talk about a little about yoga
Yes.
because
Okay. Okay.
actually, actually, I don't know how and why this word got, you know, distorted in such a fashion. Uh, Whether it happened with the Indians or whether it happens with the Europeans who started this, you know, mispronunciation, I don't know. There's a kind of a maybe an idea that every Sanskrit word has an R in the end, but which is not true. You see, Rama is is not Rama, is Ram.
Ram.
I don't know how it became Rama, and it is very easy to pronounce Ram. I think
Yes.
for all the people, everybody in every country, if he's a black African or an Italian or a Spanish or an American or a Japanese, Chinese, Indonesian, I think Ram does not have to be Rama. So Arjun does not have to be Arjuna. Mahabharat does not have to be Mahabharata. You see, so we should be very careful because every country has their own epics, has their own folklores, has their own great leaders. You see, and if we mispronounce them, if we start saying Nensala Mandal, if you say instead of Nelson Mandela, so every African will be quite upset about it. You see, so and they have a right to be upset about it. So I really don't know that when Jog became Yoga and why. So because in Sanskrit it is Jog, in all Indian languages it is Jog, and now that yoga is a very common word all over the world, we have this World Yoga Day and everything. So even Indians are saying yoga. I go and do yoga each day in the morning. I go to a club and I do yoga. But when he's talking about but yoga, as you know, in Bengali, it has many uses. For example, when we do mathematics, for additions we say jog. That five jog five is 10, like that we use add. So anything that we add, or when I say that I am connected with Orgo, so we use that word joke, that there is a joke between me and Orgo. See, so we use it in various ways. So when they use that word in other ways, they say joke. But when they mean it in the way that they go and do some exercises and asanas and pranayam and dhan and meditation, then they start saying yoga. See, because that's how the Westerners say. That's how the English speaking crowd say. So when you say you are sort of up to date with the trends, so actually there should not be any difference between yoga and yoga. The maximum that you can say is that yoga is very trendy, and trendy in the sense that people are obsessed about health nowadays, and they are constantly regulating things. We are constantly checking our blood pressure and our blood sugar and our thyroid level and the lipid profile, cholesterol count, and a lot of other things, so many things that people are quite knowledgeable also. Some people know more than the doctors. They are carrying around prescriptions and diet charts. So, yoga is a part of a regime to try and stay fit, to try and stay well and fit. It's another side alternative is, let's say, gym. And again, gym could come from the word gymkhana, or it could come from the word gymnastics. So again, people are not really sure the origin of the word gym, and we can't be sure whether how far different gym and yoga is, because I have gone to many gym. I've gone to visit many of these gym clubs where I have seen that they're doing yoga, or I've seen many yoga centers where they're using these dumbbells and these big machines and their treadmills, and they're doing gym. So even for some people, the distinction is not really clear. You see, so I just hope that jog is a very beautiful word. Jog, the mere sound is, it's it gives you something. It's a soothing, and the sound is very important. When we say something, there's a resonance. When we say something, the word and the sound has an impact on the mind, on our subtle sensations in the body. So when we say joke, that means a connection, a contact, a relationship, a merging, an unification. You see, as soon as we say yoga, somehow, to my ears, may not be true for others, it sounds ugly. Yoga. Jog sounds more beautiful and so easy to pronounce. And it's a very, very huge word. Everything can be transferred to jog. It does not have to be something that you go and do. When you do things physically, then it is called hatha jog. Hat, Hath, hat, hatha jog. Hatha jog means that you need a lot of determination, willpower. Hut, like a child has a hut. I want that dog, that I want to keep it as a pet. If you don't give it to me, I will not eat my lunch. I will not listen to you. I will not come and sleep on my bed. Now he's trying to blackmail his parents now, because he's determined that he will have that he will own that pet hut. It is called bal hut, and in our language, that means the strange obstinacy of a child who does not understand any logic. You try to reason with him. Now, who will look after the pet? Now, listen, both your parents are working people. They have to go outside. Who will look after him? Who will take him out to the toilet? Who will feed him? I will do that. That pet is mine. I need that pet. You have to give me that pet. A bal hut. No reasoning. Okay, after 2 years. No, now. Okay, once you pass your exams. No, now, today, immediately. So that is bal hut. So why I'm saying all this? Just to identify the word hatha yoga. When we are doing asanas, That means we are connecting ourselves to our body, asana. I repeat, when we are connecting ourselves to the body, that is Hatha Yoga. And we are not only connecting, we are slowly manipulating the energies within the body to make it more harmonious. And the idea of yoga, the ultimate idea of yoga, is to make the body more harmonious, more clean, more energetic. Why? So that we can live a long and healthy life, so that we can have a good sex life. No. Why? So that we can move on further into yoga. First the body, then the mind, then the intellect, then the emotion, then ourselves. So that this yoga is just the first step for us that will lead us to samadhi, that will lead us to total realization of the truth. That is the fundamental idea of yoga, and Hatha Yoga is the first step. Connecting with the body, Hatha Yoga. When we are connecting with the mind, Raj Yoga. When we are, there are two processes usually, very broadly. This is a huge subject, and our discussion on yoga should continue, where we will explore the more detailed aspects of yoga. But just as a preliminary introduction, this connection with the mind has two aspects. One is when we concentrate the mind on a particular symbol or a figure or a sound and allow the mind to gain a lot of shakti, lot of strength through that concentration. And when the concentration is complete, unwavering, then that point takes us to the point of infinity, samadhi. Another method of Raj Yoga is observation. Whatever is happening, we are not participating, we are not interfering. We are just watching, looking, observing. Thoughts and desires are coming and going, and that just observing without judgment, without attachment, without distraction, without any effort to kill those thoughts, without any effort to invite a particular thought. I'm just observing. The more I remain passive, the more I become a witness, the more I observe, thoughts stop coming or stop appearing in my screen. And then there's a blankness, then there's a vacuum. Who is the subject of this vacuum? Who is the subject of this blankness? That is a search. That again takes us to the same state of samadhi. So that is the essence of Raj Yoga. When that yoga is with emotion, is with passion, then that is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means the connection through devotion. You cannot have bhakti, or you cannot strike up a relationship with a shapeless, with a never ending, unending, timeless universe. So you want to imagine a form. That form could be the figure of Shiva, that form could be the figure of Krishna, figure of Durga, Kali, figure of Jesus, figure of Guru. It could be the symbol of Om, the symbol of Shivlingo, Narayan Shila, Swastika. It could be anything. Anything that you feel obliged, that you feel that you can connect with emotionally, that raises some passions within you. A figure or a symbol with which you can talk, who you can love, with whom you can communicate, with whom you can laugh and to cry and to enjoy, much like what you can do with your friend, much like what you can do with your child, with your parents. More intensely, you can do with this figure. So you connect emotionally. Here, you don't have to make a lot of effort. When you're trying to concentrate with the mind, there is an effort because it's something that you have to do. But here is a figure who you love, with whom you are emotionally very attached. So the concentration comes naturally in your positive moments, in your negative moments. You always seem to have a companion within you with whom you can communicate, with whom you have an intense relationship without guard, without fear, without having to be correct all the time, without having to be right all the time. So if you have something in life or somebody in life who can generate that kind of an emotion within you, and who is just not an ordinary person, he is something who represents the divine, who represents the spiritual path, then in your meditation, in your thoughts, in your ruminations, in your reflections, that communication that you have internally is bhakti yoga. That bhakti yoga leads you to the same state. That love, that attachment, that connection helps you to do what? It helps you to drive away all the other thoughts and attachments of your life and keeps you focused totally in your Ishta. It is this particular figure is called Ishta. Ishta means something that is good for you, something that takes you to your divine self. So you merge in deep love, in deep devotion, in deep surrender, you merge with your Ishta and you attain that level of samadhi. That is called Bhakti Yoga. And then there is Gyan Yoga. Gyan Yoga is connection through discrimination. To understand what I am, I need to realize what I am not. So it is called the Neti Vichar. Neti, 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 Neti. No, this is not me. This is not I. This is not what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm searching for. The body, no, this is not me. Because the body is perishable. It is This body is an expression in time and space. It will die. I am looking for the immortal self. If there is an immortal existence, if there is a consciousness, the body is a reflection, but the body is not the consciousness. It is the mind? No. Is it the intelligence? No. Is it the emotion? No. Is it the memories? No. Is it the future projections, the ambitions, the desires? No. So what? Who am I? Is it this name? That my name is, let's say, uh, Anup, or my name is Robert? Is it the name? No, that name has been given to this particular body, to this particular role, is been acquired from outside. And the moment the body goes, the name is irrelevant anymore. It does not identify who I am. This intellectual search, by sort of disrobing what I am not, it has been compared to peeling off the onion in our scriptures. Sri Ramakrishna used to use this example very frequently. It is like peeling off the onion. As you peel off the entire thing, what remains? So it's a peeling off all the layers of identification that has been thrust upon you by nature, by the society, by relationships, and by yourself. Even when you say that I am a socialist, or I'm a humanist, or I'm a feminist, you are giving yourself another stamp. You are giving yourself another label. Another layer is added to what you think you are. You see? So, peeling all these things off through constant discourses and discrimination. You can do it with yourself, you can do it with your guru. Your guru will constantly bounce you off. A Sadguru will just bounce back these questions and just help you to to light up the searchlight within you so that all the darkness disappears. You constantly ask yourself. It's like questioning till the questioner becomes, absent. And only the truth remains. So that is discrimination. That is the intellectual path. And in that path, usually, if we talk about the four Vedas again in English, anyway, the four Vedas and Upanishads, there is no mention of Jog or Tantra or these modes of sadhana. But there is this constant discrimination, Gyan Jog. So that is another. So all this is Jog. So today, in today's context, when we talk about education, we must remember that we are not restricting the word education within the boundaries of schools and colleges and degrees. Education is a process, it's a way of life, it's an attitude. Even I am today 60 years old. I should always be thinking of myself as somebody who is learning every moment, learning something new from others, from myself, from experiences, from each moment. I'm learning today a little more than what I learned yesterday, and more tomorrow. That should be the attitude. It's an attitude education. And the attitude is for what? not for some benefits, not for some profit, not for career, not for livelihood. These are subsidiary things, peripheral. The central idea is for self development, for self growth, for self fulfillment, for self realization. And yoga is the process of that self realization. And yoga is not restricted to doing a few asanas and then pranayam and then some visualization and finished. Yoga is also a way of life. When you are thinking and with your thoughts, you are connecting to the divine purpose. You are in yoga. The idea is to connect. When you are loving, when you are in a relationship, you are loving the purpose, the divine purpose of life. Then you are in yoga. When you are desiring, when you are willing, when you are trying to concentrate or to observe in order to connect with the divine truth of life, you are in yoga. When you are building up a relationship with your own body by observing, by breathing, by stretching and manipulating, not only to free yourself from sicknesses or weaknesses, but to harmonize the body with the mind, with the heart, and with the nature around you. Just as the trees and the soil and the wind, everything has to be harmonized for the ecosystem to survive. In the same way, the human body has to be harmonized with nature through yoga. So, yoga is not just something that you do for 1 hour in the day. Yoga is a complete transformational process. You eat in yoga, you sleep in yoga, you smile, you laugh, you talk, you listen, you work, you move, you walk, you sit, everything in yoga. So that is the whole idea. So yoga, if it's not that you do bhakti yoga and I will do Gyan yoga and he will do Raj yoga, those those classifications, those days of classifications are over. We all have an intellectual faculty within us. We all have an emotional faculty within us. We all have desires within us. We all know how to observe life. We can all try to improve the quality of observation. We all have some work that we can do better than the others. Maybe I can cook well, maybe you can sketch well, maybe Devashish can read well, whatever. The idea is that all these activities, all these faculties should be connected to the purpose of our life. Only then life becomes a beautiful adventure. And that education, it is not only about modern education, it's a time tested, Sanatan, it's forever. This is the education that nature is trying to inspire within us. When we are trying to impose our own ideas with a mindset of profit and control and business and industry, we are actually isolating humanity from its original purpose. That is to realize divinity from humanity, the travel, the journey, the upward movement from humanity to divinity. Yes, Devashish and Argo.
Such an invigorating and all-encompassing session. You eat in jog, we sleep in jog, we meditate in jog, everything. It's an outstanding way of teaching, and the way you said it, just outstanding. Uh, I would like Devasisa to address the last query if there is any.
No, there is not any queries, but I will request the audience here if there is any queries, it grow in meanwhile, they can give it, they can ask in this Moromia English platform, and these queries will be addressed in later programs. Uh, if some certain queries comes and it will be addressed in later program. Though I am thankful to Maharaj. Uh, you have addressed so many queries, and mostly the students were connected with us, and I think students will be get benefited with this knowledge. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes, I would like to. I would like to add something that if there are new viewers in this channel, I would love them that if they can share this session with other friends and also subscribe this channel. This is the new channel, Moromia English, because this is not our main Moromia Spiritual Society channel. It's a separate channel made only for English and other language viewers. And so I would really like if they share this session and also subscribe to this channel. Really love, really love that. This effort is really precious by Maharaj.
And thank you, Argo, and thank you, Devashish. And also thank you to all the viewers who were present today in our first live session. I can understand that people will slowly adjust and try to accommodate. I hope the timing is okay, first of all. We usually do our programs at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Hmm.
But this one, for English one, in today's session, we started at 6:30. If it is suitable for everybody, then we can continue our subsequent sessions
Yes,
at 6:30, or we can do it later at whatever convenient time. And I have seen that there are many people who have commented, but no questions have come. So take your time, and if there are queries, and the queries need not be restricted only to joke or education. It can be on various topics, on dharma, spirituality, and life, relationships, on society, on social concerns, our history, the history of our country, the history of the world, the global situation, health, and many other things that we discuss almost everything under the sun. That is what I have learned, or we have learned from our Guru, that a Sadguru is not only a preacher of Dharma, he is just a guide in every aspect of our life, in every aspect of our life, in our national aspect, social aspects, relationships, science, technology, politics, everything. So you are free to ask questions or to raise points which you feel are pertinent, and do indeed as the anchors had requested. This is a new channel, so if you think that we have taken a good initiative, please do share these channels and tap the notification button also, and to subscribe, and tell people to participate and join, and to send in their queries. We'll try to address them according to sequence when we meet again next time. Thank you.
thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.